Hello everybody, welcome back to the NCAA Football '08 Dynasty Mode explanation. After a long time of doing the key games and just not having the time to make the new script, we are finally in week number 2, and we will now go over to ESPN the magazine for your top 25 polls. As you can see, house broken, Auburn is still shaken following a home loss to Kansas State. And the cover for this week is Unfriendly Confines. Bulldogs lose a tough home game against Oklahoma State. That was one of the key games. Please check out. I think I just have the first 2 quarters up there in the halftime show and the post game because, ooh, that was ugly with a capital U right there. I'll tell you that much. But anyways, your top 25 goes USC, who won 20-3 against Toledo. Michigan, who faced off against FCS school. LSU, with a conference win. Florida, who won against an FCS school. Texas, who beat a Sunbelt school. West Virginia, who beat, yeah, like, everybody here just basically, now, Wisconsin, I'll give them credit for going against Pac-10 school in Washington State, number 7. But Washington State ain't really all that good in all honesty. Then you got number 8, Oklahoma, number 9, Virginia Tech. That was another key game, which, if you're willing to listen to me talk for another for another hour or so, you can watch the first half of that, I believe. I believe it's just the first half and the halftime and post game as well. A lot of those games just became blowouts after a while, and I just stopped recording. Number 10 is Arkansas. The first movement is Ohio State, because both Louisville and Boston College have fallen out of the top 25. Both of those were also key games. For the Louisville one with McNary Central, I just did the halftime show and the post-game show. So, nothing to see on that end, really. Then, Nebraska is now your number 12 team. Tennessee beat Cal, the only actual impressive win of the week. Is Tennessee, who's up to number 13. Penn State's up to 14th. UCLA is up to 15th. Rutgers is up to 16th. Florida State's up to 17th, although nowadays they beat Clemson. To my knowledge, that would be a big ol' upset. TCU's up to 18th. Cal falls down to 19th. 20th is Boise State. Auburn is still ranked 21st, even though they lost. 22nd is Texas A&M. Hawaii's in here without even having to play in a single game, so goody for them. And Notre Dame's in here, and Georgia's just barely in at number 25. And now, our bottom 10, you know what, we'll stick with ESPN the magazine, and we will go to our good old conference standings, which LSU is starting strong. Open conference play with a win over Mississippi State. But we don't care about that. We care about talking about Temple, who got absolutely embarrassed by Navy, which was the key game, me recording it, it got messed up because of how long it was taking me to do that game. So I redid it, still got embarrassed, but still. It's time for a year for the Owls. Nobody's going to give a hoot about them. Then number 2 is the team that was number 25 in the nation, Boston College. Yeah, they didn't show up as a ranked team when they needed to against Mickey. Instead of coming home into their home building and defending it with pride, they allowed the Devils to just run rampant in their own home and have themselves be knocked outside the top 25 with that kind of performance. Could it be a sign of things to come? If they don't bounce back this week, then yes. And they're going against NC State, Should be an interesting matchup right there. Number 3 is our lovely little friend in San Jose State. I mean, hard to really compete against Arizona State if you're... They scored 14 points and lost in week 1. Hopefully they'll find a way out of this list, but Kansas State next. Get used to them being on this list a lot for the season. And next is going to be... Well, I was going the right way originally. For number 4 is Stanford. Because early on in the game against UCLA, they had a chance to possibly be pulling off the upset. And then they just let UCLA just run away with it. I mean, that could have been their best chance to win. Their next game is against San Jose State, which they got the bye this week, so let's just see how it goes for Stanford for the week. Next is just one conference over in BYU. I mean, they scored 34 points, which is a lot more than I anticipated, but still lost with them. They could end up being a surprising team, though. But UCLA is up next. Let's see how UCLA does, though. UConn is next on the list for number 6. If I can just remind myself of which conference they're in. Yeah, I mean, they lost the battle against Duke, proving why they do prefer waiting for the basketball season to come around. They're going against Maine this week, which they're going to probably bounce back, but not really saying much against an FCS school, you know. Number 7 is another local on the list in Idaho. And yeah, the blowout lost 20-3. Up 28-3. Look away, Falcons fans. Demoralized them pretty much. But they're going against the FCS Midwest this week, so they can use that as a bounce back game and to build up for their week 3 game against Washington State. And next we are going back to the MAC to talk about Akron, who faced off against an Army defense that was middle of the road, and I'll even show you Army's defense's middle of the road. Okay. And you know what, we'll use the FBS. Yeah, C minus all around for Army. And he could have scored a touchdown or 2, you know. Instead, your kicker kicked 3 field goals. And their next opponent for Akron, fun, is the Ohio State. So, lots of rock on that one. And I only have Louisville in at number 9 because of me absolutely and utterly demolishing them at home. You know, their quarterback was a potential Heisman runner. Their leading passer is their backup quarterback in Jenkins, who went 7 of 33, 13 yards, and 8 interceptions. McGee's got a reception for 13 yards. Haran's their leader in tackles was 10, but they've lost a cornerback for 11 weeks, and they've lost a safety and a tackle for a week. So, yeah. Louisville's going to have a good bit of bouncing back to do. And they got beaten at home, so their next game's also at home against Middle Tennessee State, so bounce back game right there. And for the second week in a row, we have ourselves a top 25 team that's in the bottom 10 in Georgia. For, of course, getting embarrassed by Oklahoma State. I mean, SEC matchup here against South Carolina. and they're the only side on the East that lost. So, this should be pretty interesting to see how they do heading into week 2. And now we have reached what sometimes causes me the trouble of these mixy-matchy long downs apart are the key games. Key game number 1 is Navy against Rutgers. Navy, after humiliating Temple to open up the year, looks to literally run through the Rutgers defense and the Scarlet Knights in general. But Rutgers has one thing that Temple didn't have, and that's an offense. And, well, they also have a defense. Because 71 rushing yards allowed in their previous game, yeah, that should probably stop the number 1 rushing offense in the nation right now. Scarlet Knights are looking to make the life of the midshipmen hard and rough for 4 quarters in New Jersey. And with them being in the Big East, I can go ahead and see later on where in New Jersey they're at. Yeah, I have them later on the schedule. Don't worry about that. Piscataway? Is that how you pronounce that? Piscataway? I'm not sure on that end, but anyways. In Piscataway, New Jersey. At the end of the day, I do believe Rutgers will win. I mean, they're the ranked team. They're coming in with better momentum, I believe. So, should be an interesting game there. Game number 2 is a historic one. Notre Dame and Penn State. The Fighting Irish and Nittany Lions. 2 historic programs with championship history that goes back decades. 2 teams that are prestigious in the world of college football. The Fighting Irish are looking to remain in the top 25 as they have just entered, and Penn State is looking to put them right back on the outside looking in. This should be a close back and forth matchup, and it'll be too close to pick a winner until the final seconds. I mean, their stats are basically almost even for overall wise. Their actual stats, I mean, a bit more different, but what can you really do? It's only just been one game of the year. But I believe in the end, the Penn State Nittany Lions will have the crowd on their side and make sure that Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish will be on the losing end of this fight. Now, of course, I'm saying Penn State, even though I believe, yes, end of the year I have Notre Dame on the schedule. But I'm not having my schedule be the influence for my picks of who wins and who doesn't. Now, key game number 3, as we are scrolling through a couple, is TCU and Texas. The Horned Frogs are coming into Austin with only one thing on their minds: upset the Longhorns at home, a task way easier said than done. Texas is coming in as a top 5 team and looking to keep momentum up for the rest of the year. A loss this early could be salvageable, but they would rather avoid the possibility altogether. This isn't just a battle of top 25 teams, oh no, but also a battle of Texas, basically home to any kind of football in America. And I'm talking about this kind of football, the football on the screen, not the world kind of football. And I believe that Texas was the team to start off the 5th ring curse in the other universe. It was either Texas or Colorado, one of them 2 teams. And it wouldn't surprise me if they started this one. So I think TCU will be able to pull off the biggest upset of the year so far. And for the 2nd week in a row, it's not Temple being in the key game. Buffalo probably could have been. Maybe Buffalo. Okay. Stupid thumb. I mean, Buffalo, stat-wise, could be bottom 10 material, but that's a different story altogether. It's Nebraska and Mickey. The Mickey Devils are coming off one big upset, going on the road to defeat Boston College. Now head home to Hell Stadium and try to pull off a second upset in as many weeks. This time, the opposing team is the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 12th in the nation, a Big 12 team. Yeah, Big 12 team, ranked number 12. Coincidence? I think not. But anyways, and one of the teams normally in discussion of who's been the best, as Nebraska had some dominant teams themselves. I believe the Cornhuskers shouldn't go into this cocky, as that was what became the downfall of the Eagles last week. But Mickey Cup is coming into this with momentum and looking to please the home crowd in the home opener and start off the home part of their schedule right. I see them being able to do it too. And the last game for the key games, I thought about this one as another Battle of Texas. And I did think about this as using it as a potential bounce back game for Tampa Bay. Same with this one a little bit. Did think about this one as well. This one because it was a rivalry. But in the end, you saw the star. It's none other than... No, it's not Ole Miss and McNary Central. Number one, I'm facing Alabama this week. And number two, who Alabama ain't ranked in this universe. Yes, I know. That's shocking. And I'm not ranked in this universe yet, but give me a few weeks. Virginia Tech and LSU. As you see, star right there, game of the week, no doubt about it, top 10 matchup. A game a lot of people are going to be talking about heading into this virtual week. Hokies, Bayou Bengals, a top 10 battle in Baton Rouge, in Death Valley, one of the toughest places to play in all of the nation. And I'm pretty sure that's still a thing I can look at here. No, it ain't a thing to look at here, but it is one of the toughest ones. And I'll even show you that it's one of the toughest places to play. Like, I think it's like top 5 toughest place to play in the game, because that crowd noise does become a big factor. So, yeah, 4th toughest place to play. The 4th toughest place to play in the entire nation. And that's in this Dynasty mode, which we are in year number 1 right now, so I can use the Play Now mode as a reference page for the toughest places to play. And yeah, Virginia Tech is coming in here with more momentum, being a good team overall wise in Tampa Bay, because yeah, that game against Tampa Bay, winning 93-64, compared to LSU, who started off their year by beating I must pass them on the way going down. Let's see. Oh, no, they played earlier. Yeah, they beat Mississippi State. So, in Starkville. So, both teams start off differently. Virginia Tech at home, LSU on the road. LSU's, but one thing is, as you can see, 9 turnover differential for Virginia Tech. They are coming into this being able to force turnovers. But their Achilles heel, as you can see right now, is their defense, allowing 613 yards, 547 of them through the air. LSU's defense is top 25 in the country, and LSU is going to be a bit better controlling the ball. Their turnover differential is even, and they're looking to have the backing of about 100,000 fans screaming and shouting, causing all sorts of problems for the Hokies offense. I think this is going to be one of, if not, the closest game this week. Possible championship implications are on the line here. If Virginia Tech wins, they're probably going to end up going to the ACC championship. LSU wins, I think they'd be a good shot for the west side of the SEC. Yeah, they're a good shot for the west side of the SEC. Because McNary Central, they're on the east side of the SEC. So, we don't want to look at me against Ole Miss. Yeah, I got a different controller for this episode this week. So, technical difficulties have been involved because sensitivity on the controller is a lot different than the one before. But yeah. In this game, win and you're one step closer. Lose and you have a harder hill to climb. I think the Tigers are going to win in front of their home fans and proving that the SEC is better than the ACC. But yeah, those are the key games. And that's this episode. And I will see you all next time. Hopefully a lot quicker.